The 5 key learning spaces of modern schools. We inhabit both seen and unseen space. Whether physical or virtual space, it can have an impact on learning. Spaces can bring people together, they can encourage collaboration, and they can provide a place to be quietly productive. What are these spaces, and how can we make them a reality in our school? The classroom in the school. The Australian curriculum is a comprehensive document covering a wide scope of content and a broad skills base. The way that the primary school classroom is constructed reflects our pedagogical beliefs about the value of interaction between teachers and children with each other. The teacher coordinates the day, but the students take an active role in their own learning. There is no hint of the lecture-style format of bygone days. The furniture is comfortable and movable. There are areas created for whole class meetings, small group functions and individual pursuits. People, resources, technologies and spaces work together to enable students to achieve success. A modern classroom may include a much bigger floor space than previously, with an open plan aspect and several teachers operating out of the same room. For children who are prone to being easily distracted by this busyness, this format may work as a disadvantage initially until they become acclimatised. And there are other new additional extras, like those who would rather stand to work can be accommodated by a standing desk. The key factors in a well-designed classroom are size and flexibility of the space, good quality, controllable lighting, adequate ventilation, temperature control, and acoustic absorption. Outdoors, the school playgrounds are best utilised when they provide room and opportunity for students to interact with equipment that extends their physical capabilities and works on team building skills. Beyond the classroom. The learning process is enhanced when information is presented in context, which is not necessarily a traditional classroom setting. The extra administrative load for the teacher of organising an excursion or a camp might shed doubt on if it's worth the effort, but you can meet several different curriculum objectives in one foul swoop if you plan it well. You can design pre- and post-trip activities in reflective language or visual art, for instance. A positive outcome can be that you have now made a community link, and which may have ongoing mutual benefit for all of those involved. Another option is incursions. That's when you host another party from outside your staff to come and present something. It might be a parent who comes to share about their job, or a travelling dance troupe. Touring the country, the options are endless. The students benefit seeing the connections between what they're learning in the curriculum and how it's played out in real life. Engaging the other senses, like smell and touch, helps to deepen the learning experience. Excursions and incursions are well worth the effort. The electronic learning space. The electronic learning space can be taken to mean the World Wide Web, Mac applications, the use of Web 2 technologies, or the use of electronic devices. In this information age, the internet has become our constant go-to place and therefore can be seen as a legitimate learning space. A digitally enabled device that connects to the internet is a teaching tool. It is not the teacher, it is not the curriculum. A downside to this amazing resource is the physical need for a device, the electricity and connectivity, which can be problematic depending on your funding and location. The more fundamental weaknesses can be found in staying on task and keeping the curriculum goals in mind, as opposed to the random surfing behaviours. Students and teachers can access information easily and use the tools on their computers to find, process, present and share the data that is generated from this space. As a teaching tool, the electronic learning space is a valuable and popular place to use. The individual learning space. For those who like to work alone, having space to think and work quietly is important. There must be periods of opportunity given in both time and provision for furniture for students to be alone and to work interrupted. For a teacher, it means that you do not talk constantly either during this time. Individual workspaces should enable enough space for books or equipment, enough elbow room, and the ability for the child to face away from others if need be. These factors help those who need solitude. They may not be old enough to know what their optimum learning environment is, but given them a chance to work independently at times, you'll need comfortable furniture because an uncomfortable child is an easily distracted one. Tables can be heightened or a smaller one found. Providing appropriate surfaces is important if you want tidiness. Provide enough storage spaces so that desks are not cluttered with stationery or piles of books. Even if you think a child works best in chaos, having to be quiet for others shows consideration for those who do need it. The group learning space. Students don't just learn by listening or doing things themselves. They can learn along with other people, and we need to provide opportunities and areas for them to interact in this way. Vygotsky's zone of proximal development says that we can learn more with more capable others. Using scaffolding as a pedagogical tool helps us to give children opportunities to work together to provide temporary support for one another. The teacher's role is to manage the students' participation in the group so that the curriculum outcomes are being met. If left unmonitored, group work can disrupt and distract from positive learning. There are slight differences in terminology between cooperative and collaborative groups, but monitored well, any type of group work can succeed as long as the roles, distribution of workload and grading outcomes are clear. Instances of grouping, cooperation and collaboration feature commonly in the Australian curriculum documents throughout a range of subject areas like civics and citizenship, in science, and many others. Teachers also have group learning spaces. Some might call that the staff room. We call these personal learning networks, which can be found online or in person.